On October the 4th in 1936, the Battle of Cable Street took place. It wasn't exactly a battle, it was a series of skirmishes, and it wasn't just in Cable Street, it was over a wider area of the East End. But it was a conflict between the local residents and a group headed by Sir Oswald Mosley, who'd recently founded the British Union of Fascists, who were marching on to this East End area, especially because it was a place where Jews particularly lived. And the opposition, those who put up barriers against the march and who resisted even the police's efforts to disband them, and eventually sent Mosley's people packing without having achieved the entry into the East End that they wanted. The opposition was made up of all sorts of different people. It was the local English working class, it was Irish immigrants, it was Somali seamen, it was people from the local Afro-Caribbean community, it was Orthodox Jews and Catholics, it was dockers, it was trade unionists, it was communists. It was a whole host of people who all came together, as well as people not just from the East End but from all over the country came, because they wanted to oppose what Mosley stood for, and to put up a protest against the rise of fascism in the UK. And they were victorious. It was a victory because Mosley and his people had to leave with their tail between their legs. And what's so inspiring for me about this occasion was the way in which all these different groups came together to oppose this fascist threat. They each realised that in the end they might all be the target of people like Mosley, just as the Jews were at that particular time. And so they came together to support the local Jewish people in the Cable Street area, and in the end to resist the advance of the fascists. It reminded me of a little poem by Pastor Niemöller, who was initially in favour of Hitler's government. He voted for him in 1931, but gradually began to realise that what Hitler was doing was totally destructive and very much against Christian values, and began to speak out against it, and eventually he was interned in 1937 and remained in concentration camps for another 8 years. So he learnt from his own experience that if you don't stand up to right-wing activity when it begins, then eventually you may succumb to it. And he wrote the poem, which is quite well known really, which goes like this: they came for the communists, but I was not a communist, and so I did not stand up for them. They came for the socialists, but I was not a socialist, so I did not stand up for them. They came for the trade unionists, but I was not a trade unionist, so I did not stand up for them. They came for the Jews, but I was not a Jew, so I did not stand up for them. They came for me, and there was no one left to stand up for me. And I think what we can be reminded of, both by Cable Street and by Pastor Niemöller, is that we all need to play our part in resisting anything that smacks of fascism, anything which threatens to undermine and attack any particular groups within society just because they want to attack them, for no valid reason at all, and because we recognise that kind of attack, that kind of undermining of people's right to freedom and to a life as a normal part of society, that we all have that right, and anyone who undermines it for any particular group needs to be opposed, because in the end we all might be victims of it.